All right, happy Sunday, everybody. We've got college basketball. We've got NBA selection. Sunday is upon us, so that's an exciting day. We've got 5 college basketball games. We'll talk through each one of those. We got NBA games, and we'll go through, switch it up a little bit. Let's switch it up. I'm going to go through each game rather than talking about who I think is going to win the game. I'm just going to go through. We'll pull up Prop Madness, and we'll sift through every game here, and I'll tell you kind of where I am leaning on those. Okay, let's put that right there. Beautiful. All right, so let's start with Philly and Dallas. So one of the plays I like today, it is on the card, is going to be PJ Washington. This was minus 110 on BetMGM. It's definitely not minus 110, I guarantee it. But if you can still get it, absolutely snag that. I love this spot here. I don't know if he'll be on a minutes restriction, but I think he should be playing at least 25 minutes. So he should be good to this spot. We can see we got an okay hit rate there. So I do like that. Another play I liked was fading Quentin Grimes. I mean, they're in full lose mode. So I don't mind taking his under rebounds plus assists, but you never know. Dude could pop off, but I feel like they're just purposely trying to lose anyway. So should be a good spot there. Klay Thompson over points. I think that's a decent one. I mean, we can see if we just look kind of without Kyrie here, if we remove him out of the mix, been okay to this line, but he's just got such a good matchup here to make shots. So that could be an avenue. Could also look at his over in threes. I don't want to touch that, but that's an avenue, I guess. Spencer Dinwiddie assist wasn't too bad, but too juiced right now. But I think his PRA line is what I didn't mind at all. The 21.5 on DraftKings, not bad. I don't want to trust him, but that was really just some plays I had in that game. Orlando and Cleveland. Donovan Mitchell's a game time decision. One of the plays I do have on the card is going to be D Mobley under 3.5 assists. See, I already have it kind of filtered without D Mitch. So over in 50% if he doesn't play. You can see this is just a horrendous matchup here. For him to get assists. So under 3.5 is an absolute steal. It looks like this play got juiced pretty good. So I got this at still minus 130 on Bet365. So you can still find some value there, but love that play today. Just not a lot of lines out yet. So we'll have to wait and see. Wendell Carter Jr. rebound, something I look at. 7.5. I mean, centers versus Cleveland. Not too bad. I mean, they're 11th in the last 15 games in terms of rebounds allowed. So not someone I want to stake anything to. If you can get some Goga under rebounds, if that pops up, that could be a good avenue. Let's see. What else? Franz Wagner over in rebounds or Banchero assist was another thing I was looking at. But again, it's kind of juiced here, but I could see him getting potentially 5 assists, but I don't want to bank on it, man. This guy's a scorer. 25.5 is just a lot against Cleveland. And then Franz Wagner rebounds. But again, everything's just kind of juiced a little bit. If this drops to 4.5, I might look at it or maybe fade him at the 5.5. But he technically does have a good spot here. Phoenix and the Lakers. One play I do like is Austin Reeves over 5.5 assists. See, I've already got it filtered without LeBron. He is over this in 5 of 6. We add Luka in, who Luka is a game time decision. He's over in 1 of 2. So I do like this spot for him. I mean, it's all green on the assist chart here. So I do love that. Only thing I don't love is the positional hit rates aren't amazing. But if we look at who's going to be dishing the ball, it's 2 guys. It's Luka or Austin. So I like this spot here. Another spot I did like was fading Nick Richards rebounds under 8.5. It's just pretty damn juiced. Now, it looks like it's dropped to 7.5 on a lot of books. It was only on one book earlier. But we can see DraftKings, you can fade him at minus 135, or if you got Bet Rivers, really good value there to fade Nick Richards. Just didn't want to take it under. Jackson Hayes, I don't trust this guy, but is over 5.5. I mean, he should hit this line. Phoenix is very prone to giving up rebounds to centers. I just don't trust this dude whatsoever, so that's why I faded him. But we can see his minutes played is just getting through the roof there. But that's a fade spot for me. Nothing else really stood out to me. Luka's lines are a little juiced. In this Toronto and Portland game, I wanted to play something. I just couldn't pull the trigger on what to play. Jakob Pertl's rebound line 7.5. I don't trust him, but there was a lot of variance on this. It's starting to come back down to earth. This was like minus 150, minus 160. I don't trust this guy. The minutes he's playing, you can see he's just on a huge downfall in terms of his minutes, and his hit rate's terrible. If anything, I would lean towards his under. You could look at his under PRAs even. 22.5. 23.5, I'd feel pretty comfortable fading that. So that could be an avenue there. Denny, his rebound line's through the roof, 8.5. I don't trust that whatsoever. But I'm not going to fade Denny either. Anthony Simons, I did like his points. His points isn't too bad whatsoever. In terms of matchup, he's got a pretty bad matchup. I mean, it's not terrible. I mean, if we look at this, it's not bad. And his hit rate, I prop madness is good. Positional hit rate's good. So that's an avenue to take him over in points today. I just don't trust him personally. I think his 3 line's going to be 3.5 if I had to guess. It is. But we look at the books. He's pretty heavily favored to go over. So that could be an avenue there just to take Anthony Simons over his points. You could parlay that with under assist if you get 5.5, but we're only seeing 4.5. Might jump to 5. Other than that, Klingon, maybe. I don't really trust this dude, but technically has a good matchup to get rebounds. I just don't trust the guy. The hit rate's just not there, in my opinion, to take him, but we see the books, they do like him a little bit. If anything, I would lean towards the under, but I could see people, you could take a flyer on him over 9.5. So there's some potential, maybe plus value there. Minus 105 is the best odds you're going to get there, but could hit. I'm not on board with taking that. Scotty Barnes is dead to me. He's just been absolutely terrible lately. Atlanta and Brooklyn, one of the things I looked at was fading D. Russ in his assist, but that's just typically not a good bet against Atlanta, who, it's going to be a high scoring game and the assist chart's just too good. Another play I liked was fading Trae Young assist. It was at 11.5. We can see it's starting to get a little juice. Books are starting to move towards 10.5 now. So unfortunately, this play's gone. You can still get it at minus 130 on DraftKings. But again, I don't necessarily want to fade him when I look at the position hit rate, and it's really good. So I would favor guys like Okongwu here. If we look at where his assists are going, it'd be down to, guys like Okongwu. So that could be something where you look at his points. In my opinion, it's just way too juiced. I don't trust him to get that many points. That's an avenue you could look at as well. Dyson Daniels, you could look at his rebounds plus assists. Let's see where they're ranking lately. Kind of 12th in rebounds, 12th in assists. So very mid line here. So if I had to guess, it's probably going to be 9.5. Yeah. So 9.5, really juiced on BetMGM. There's just no value here to take this, but he probably hits it, but at that value, it's not worth it. Not worth taking in that one. Let's see, Charlotte and the Clippers. A couple of plays I looked at here. I just don't have faith. You could look at his assists for Harden. It's at 8.5, 9.5. The 8.5 is too juiced. 9.5 is not bad if you wanted to fade him. There's metrics here that say he's probably going to go under. You could do something where he goes under his assist over his points. I do think he has a decent matchup for points that the books aren't reflecting. Things just don't show it, but if we look at by position, he's got a pretty good hit rate, and he's just been balling out lately. So we can see he's over in 6 straight. So you could do something probably close to plus 300 if he did his over in points and under in assist. Also think he has a good spot to get boards at 5.5. That is one that almost made the card. I mean, almost made the card. I see this has dropped to minus 125 on DraftKings. I might bet this at some point today. Zubac's rebound line's at 11.5. Kind of hard not to take him at 11.5. I'm not going to lie, but man, we look at recent results, it's just not been there for him. So over the last 15 games, only over in 7 of 15. Positional hit rate's terrible. Props madness, similar players, not bad, but he just hasn't been getting the job done for me, so I'm going to fade him. You could look at LaMelo. He's got a good assist line today. 6.5's really juicy. Minus 136 on FanDuel. Almost put that one on the card. Just didn't quite get there. Rebounds at 4.5. I mean, he typically goes over this. That's another one, but he just doesn't have a good matchup. They're probably going to get smoked, and I don't know how much he's going to play. It's on a Sunday. I don't trust it. Bridges rebound lines at 7.5, heavily favored to go under. Mark Williams, would love to play him. I just don't know how much Nurkic and Diabate's going to play. So it's a fade for me. Just not much I love on this game, to be honest. So that's where I'm at with that. Utah and Minnesota got a couple of plays in this one. I've got 3 plays on this game, actually. So the first one, you could look at Randall rebounds. I don't have this on there, but 6.5, very doable for him. He's been going over this pretty frequently, but the position hit rate's pretty good. Similar player, not good. You could fade Kessler's rebounds at 10.5. Thought about that. I don't know how much he's going to play. Is Filipowski going to play? I mean, I have zero faith there. So the plays I do have today is going to be around Rudy. I've got 2 on Rudy. I don't mind his points. I think he could definitely get over 11.5. He could go double-double. I like his over 9.5 rebounds. This line's actually already moved. Pretty crazy. But this is on the card. So I did like his 9.5. And I liked his over 1.5 assist, which that line has moved a bunch. I got this at minus 115 on BetMGM 30 minutes ago. And it's minus 155. So those are the plays that I had on Rudy. And then the other one I had that I got good value, it's probably still good value, is Collier over 3.5 boards. Let's see. Yeah, still minus 110 on BetMGM. That's what I got this at this morning. This guy just hustles. I mean, he's going to get his minutes. He's going to hustle. We look at position. We got a great positional hit rate here, over an 11 of 15. I just like this, one of the bright spots on this team where you know he will hustle. Thought about taking his over in rebounds, under an assist. 7.5, little scary. We do see it at 8.5 on DraftKings, but we can't take the under. I would bang the under if I could get that on DraftKings. So that's where I'm at with that game. And then last game on the card, I will end up doing something with this game. I'm just not sure what it is yet. I want to wait for injury. I like Brook Lopez over, it was 12.5 points. Now it's already at 13.5. I do like him over 12.5. I think this falls back to 12.5. If it does, he had a really good hit rate against them last year. Over in 2 of 2. And he's just been kind of balling out. If we look over the last, 10 games, he's been scoring a ton of points. So I do think there's a good spot for him, especially on threes. Actually, over 1.5 threes is what I liked. But we've got decent hit rates here. Threes, they give up a ton of 3-point attempts to this position. It was 20-something, 23rd in 3-pointers allowed to centers. So you could look at over 1.5 threes. I don't think that's a terrible angle at plus 100 on DraftKings. So that's an angle. Thought about fading Lillard. He has a horrendous matchup, but 22.5, man. I feel pretty good he can get 22.5. His assist line's at 6.5. Thought about fading that, but it's too low. Too low in my opinion. Rebounds are at 4.5. That's something I would be okay with. Problem is they tend to give up a lot of rebounds. So just kind of a fade for me on him. You can look at his rebounds and assists, 11.5. Little steep in my opinion. You can get some good value on BetMGM at minus 120 if you want to fade him. Giannis's rebound line's at 12.5. Probably hits it. It's a tight line. Points was at 29.5. That's probably where I would go with Giannis. Probably no Hartenstein today, so you're going to get Chet Holmgren down low. Thought about taking his rebounds at 7.5. Not bad. I just don't know if I trust it. And we can see the books have moved towards 8.5 now. So if anything, probably fade him and go under there. Positional hit rate's just not good there. So that's where I'm at with that. I think we got through everything. So those were kind of my leans on all the plays I had today. Let's talk about college basketball. So we've got Cornell and Yale. Yale was balling yesterday. It looked like they were just going to run away with that game, and then it got sweaty as hell. Cornell, on the other hand, started out a little slow, and then they just started dominating. So give me Cornell plus 5.5. I know they played earlier this year, and Yale dominated. I think they played twice, actually, and Yale got the best of them. I think they scored 100 points in both games. I just kind of like this spot, though. I haven't loved the way Yale's played in this tournament, and I like the way Cornell's looking. So give me Cornell plus 5.5. George Mason, VCU. This will be an interesting test. I think 8's too high. I got this at 8.5. VCU is really good at getting offensive rebounds. Very, very good. George Mason's not too bad. I think they're at 34%. VCU is one of the best in the country at offensive boards. I think George Mason's able to limit them a little bit. These two teams played earlier this year, and VCU won it was 14 or 15 points, I believe. Pretty low-scoring game. It was like 70-54, if I remember right. So why we see an over-under of 127.5. I do like the over. George Mason has been offensively playing really well this tournament. So I do think they keep it pretty tight. Next game, Tennessee and Florida. Not putting money on this. It's one I'm looking forward to watching. 5 is a lot. Given 2.5 possessions, 2 possessions against Tennessee, it's kind of a big one there. If anything, I would lean towards the over 143.5 in this one. Florida put up, 100+ points yesterday against Alabama. That's sad. Alabama doesn't play D. I think everybody knows that. Next game, UAB and Memphis. This is going to be a good game. I would lean Memphis -3.5 in this one. Don't have a play in it, but that's where I'm at with that. And then Wisconsin and Michigan. Oh boy, Maryland. Maryland let that dude go coast to coast to win it yesterday. That was gut-wrenching. We'll have to see with Michigan. They got the bigs, right? You got Wolf and you got the other guy down there. Massive team, but Wisconsin, I mean, they got cheese. There's some homegrown folks too. I would lean Wisconsin in this one -3.5. Just the better team. I think Michigan's had a really good run. Ultimately, man, I don't feel like they should be in this game, to be honest. So give me Wisconsin in that contest. All right, let's get into our plays. Get you guys on your way. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. First play on the card, PJ Washington over 6.5 rebounds. I hope he plays. We just got to wait and see if he plays. Philadelphia 27th in rebounds allowed to the power forward position. Only question is, A, will he be on a minutes restriction? B, will he even play? So he's been listed as a game time decision for the past 3 games, hasn't played. So we're going to keep taking him because the line's just too juicy. Next one, Evan Mobley under 3.5 assists. This line's just too high in my opinion. He is over in 7 of his last 15, 3 of 6 without D. Mitch, as we talked about. Mitchell's a game time decision. I expect him to play. We're kind of getting to the point now with the Cavs where a couple more wins and they don't have anything to play for. They've already locked up a spot. Now they're just trying to win their conference. So they've already won their division. Isaiah Collier over 3.5 rebounds. Probably not the greatest idea to bet an over on a Jazz team that's tanking, but this is just one guy that plays hard. He's a rookie and just goes out there and plays hard every game. So I'm not afraid to take his over. And then we already talked about Rudy taking his over in rebounds, over in assist. He's over his rebound line in 8 of his last 10. His minutes are back to normal. So I like the spot for him. Obviously blowout potential, but yeah, T-Wolves just haven't really blown the brakes off of anybody, and I think the Jazz can do enough to hang around. And then last play in the NBA, Austin Reeves over 5.5 assists. He's over this in 5 of 6 without LeBron, 1 of 2 without Luka, as we talked about, and just has a good spot here to get some assists. So I like taking him today. And then college basketball, Cornell plus 5.5. George Mason plus 8.5, and then Michigan and Wisconsin under 150.5. I do think Wisconsin wins. I like the under here. I think we're going to see some really good defense. I think Wisconsin's going to be able to stop Michigan's big guys underneath to some degree. And I don't trust Michigan to make shots. So we're just going to take the under 150.5. But if you want to, Wisconsin is a good lean as well. All right, so those are my plays. That's the review. Appreciate you guys, and I will catch you guys in the next video.